For certification compliance open meeting laws.
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 5, meeting agenda. I think we'll move the agenda around a little bit. We'll make number 10 in front of number 8, if that's acceptable by the committee.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Bissonnette, second by Mr. Peters, to approve the agenda with the change. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Next item, number 6, public comments. I'm going to start public comment with, I received an email from Cheryl Treeland, and she asked me to read it into the record, so I will do that. Cheryl Treeland, President, Lake Chippewa Resort Association, 9630 N Treeland Road, Hayward. April 11, 2023, Chair Ron Kinsley, Sawyer County Public Works Committee. Dear Chairman Kinsley, unfortunately, the Lake Chippewa Resort Association has a conflict of their annual spring meeting and the Public Works Committee meeting on April 12th. As many of our members will be at our meeting, and we'd like to have our views on the closing of the ATV routes within the reservation boundaries read into the record in your meeting. The key word to the trail system is conductivity. The layout of the trails within the county has been designated to connect residents and visitors to the trails throughout the woods of northern Wisconsin. Volunteers have spent thousands of hours over years developing the expansion of these trails as they demand once more conductivity. They have been heard from residents and business owners alike. The whole system has been brought thousands of people to the trails on an annual basis. The riders have brought business to every corner of our county, from sales of equipment to lodging, food, beverages, and all other items we can find available to the public in Sawyer County, especially during shoulder seasons. The decision by the Sawyer County to close some of the trails, the LCO reservation will still continue to have an impact on our residents and enjoy the trails, continuing to have a major economic development impact on the businesses near the trails and the businesses in the greater Hayward area that cater to these riders while they come here, from Main Street to all corners of Sawyer County. We ask that Sawyer County reconsider opening all these routes until proof of ownership legal concerns are answered. To penalize our residents and businesses, both recreation and financially, until this issue is resolved, takes us back to LCO relationship in the days of protest over hunting and gathering rights. The tourism community worked hard to have a good working relationship during those times, and we've had a positive relationship moving forward from then. We further that the closing of these trails to use in the near future may bring many people back to the historical days of the past. Please reconsider these closings with a momentum of understanding that the legal question are answered. Sawyer County will be abiding by the decision of the legal system. This MOU should keep economic diversified from the trail system healthy and vibrant. It looks like the trail should be closed in the future. Then at the same time, volunteers will be actively pursuing easements or land to continue bringing conductivity. Respectfully, Cheryl Treeland, President. Thank you. We have other people who care to speak. We'll start with Mr. James Slerman. Let's speak up with the microphone there, please.
I will gladly do that, sir. Thank you for allowing us to speak today. I live at, my name is James Strandland. I live at 7253 West Moose Lake Club Road in the town of Round Lake. And I'm on my behalf as a new property owner and have a rental facility that I really hate to see all trails closed to the public. Neighboring states, neighboring counties all around are opening up main roads, county roads for ATV, UTV traffic. I would like to see that addressed as well as the closure. Ms. Treeland's letter was fantastic. Realized that the trails lead to resorts, lead to restaurants, bars. The impact of the financial is extremely high. Hate to see that the county miss that point of it, that the economic value of what people bring to our area is phenomenal. Tourism has changed a lot. You start seeing tons and tons of ATVs, UTVers, and the snowmobilers bring it to the Hayward area. Talked to friends of mine from Minnesota today, and they said this is one of the greatest places they come. Many trails, beautiful riding, beautiful places to go. I hate to see them say, hey, you know what, Minnesota's making more trails. Other people are making more trails. Let's go there. Let's not spend our money here anymore. So with that, owning property, I would appreciate that this, the county, you guys represent this. Keep in mind, let's see if we can open up all county roads to ATV, UTV traffic. And let us have some more interconnecting trails as we're going. It's like every other counties are doing this. Cable, for instance, has every road open unless posted. I would like to see us keep becoming a very friendly atmosphere for ATV, UTV usage. And all of us try to get along, whether we're on part of the reservation or part of the rest of the county. I'd love to see this all get worked out and benefit for all of us in our area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Greg Collins.
Yeah, I just put a comment in there, I don't need to speak. He basically took the words out of my mouth as far as I have the same views as that as being a local business owner. I was just out at different counties talking to different members, of associations, resort associations and stuff, and their business is picking up quickly because of the UTV, the off season, summertime. And I hate to see this county lose out on that opportunity to build the tourism the same way that all the other counties are. 10 states, UP of Michigan is one, state of Minnesota, another. And I think if we fall behind, we're not only going to lose on that, but we're going to start losing on our summer activities as far as fishing, people coming up here resorting. They're going to start going to other places and taking their families. And I really hate to see that for our local economy.
Thank you. Tim, I'm not sure your last name, Dawson.
Davison,
Dave.
Tim Davison, Hunter Township, 10699 W Twin Bay Road. I'm here in a capacity as a resident and also a representative from Sawyer County Snowmobile Alliance. I'm a resident of Sawyer County and Hunter Township. My wife and I retired here in 2018. I moved here with the idea that I would be able to use and enjoy the motorized sports like everybody said we could up here. All I'm doing is looking for a uniform policy throughout the county on what ATV, UTV use is. I would like to point out, if we let the townships make the decisions on our county roads, and we let the county roads make the decisions on the county roads, and we let the state make the decisions on the state roads, who's doing it? Who's doing the county roads? Is the township doing the county roads, or is the county doing the county roads? I'd like to reiterate what everybody else is saying about the money that comes into Sawyer County, the tax basis that goes up. It's so much, I don't know, it's really hard to put a number on it, and nobody can, because it's so much. It's in the millions of dollars a year in Sawyer County alone. I'd like you to please consider our concerns. We're only thinking of how to make Sawyer County a better place to come on vacation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gary Gephardt.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Gary Garrett, 16164 W Woodland Hills Drive, here in Wisconsin. I'm here representing, I'm not with this group. They're good people, but I'm not part of their group. I'm representing myself. I just want to address actions last month by this Public Works Committee. And this is in reference to tonight's agenda 10B. The fact that the routes within reservation boundaries were not renewed. As of today, March 12th, 2023, Sawyer County is the maintaining authority. They have jurisdiction of those highways. Nobody else does, only Sawyer County Highway as we speak today. Now, if in the future something occurs somewhat similar to the taxation issue that we just went through, that's a different story. But until this committee gets something from a federal agency or a judge or something, I feel you erred in your actions last month, and I just hope that you guys can correct it or something. Funny, Mr. Business.
I'm listening to you.
Oh, you're smiling when you kind of grinned at me. I'm sorry. I don't know what his problem is, but anyway.
I have a problem, sir.
Okay, you were smiling. Okay, anyway, my point also is comments have been made that some of these roads went through. We didn't know they were going on Rowan County roads. I want to let you know that every single ATV, UTV route with County Clerk Chris Mayberry, County Clerk Carol Williamson, now County Clerk Lynn Fitch have all been properly noticed. And because of the dual approval process, they've also been run through town boards. So anyone who could make an accusation that they didn't know or this went by, whatever, that's not true. These were all legally noticed routes, every one of them. I was party to them, and I would not something like that happen under my law. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else that hasn't filled out the paper would like to speak? Yes,
Chris Treeland Newman, owner Pat's Landing, 7476 North Pat's Landing Road, Hayward. Town of Hayward resident. Pretty much everything I wanted to say was said. I would just like to reiterate that closing these roads, I don't know the exact intention, but closing these routes is hurting my business, which in turn hurts many other businesses, including tribal businesses, because we promote all of Sawyer County with my business. We send people on different routes each day, different places to go, where to stop and get gas, where to stop and get supplies. We promote everyone, and I think that this is a disservice to all of us by closing these routes that have already been pre-approved. I understand we might be looking for some onus somewhere on these routes. I would ask that the Public Works Committee please move forward, open these routes back up when this onus shows up, that we turn around and review them again and see what is the best solution. Thanks.
thank you. Yes,
Jane Schrader, 12210 Chart Road, Hayward, resident of town of Round Lake. And I would just like to reiterate what has been said already tonight. Also as a business out in representing Hayward Power Sports. The road closures are confusing. It's hard for law enforcement. It costs more for signage. The list goes on and on. But I hate to see that our renters and our guests that come and patronize our business have to head north to Bayfield County because we're confused as to where they can go in our own county. So I think it would behoove the whole county if we could reconsider and open the trails roads back up. Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? Yes,
Good evening. My name is Kevin Kroll, 12467 North Real Living Drive. My wife and I own and run Real Living Resort and Campground, town of Spider Lake in Sawyer County. Just as well as everybody else here said, our business currently, we don't have any routes coming to us. It is a town of Spider Lake issue, but I think moving forward, I think like Tim had brushed on a little bit. I mean, if there is a way we could collaborate and make it a county-wide situation that we'd be able to address and open the trails. I mean, just at our campground alone, we're turning away business every single day. We get multiple phone calls from the guests that come up snowmobiling, want to stay with us in the summer, camp with us. The amount of revenue that we're losing because of the ATV trails not getting back into our business is very substantial.
thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Chad Lauterbach, Oak Shores Resort, 7426 North Buckley Drive. I agree with everybody else, what they've said. The big thing, not only just our area that's affected for those road closures. I agree with Tim, the county, if you can open up the county, and Highway B doesn't have to be open full length, there's sections. You can go in short sections, jump on town roads, now the town roads are open, get around. If you guys could consider doing that, along with, reopening the routes that were closed. Without all the right proper documentation first, you have to have documentation to go forward with anything. Documentation wasn't provided. You need to open the routes and then the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to speak without signing in or?
I'm allowing you to, yes.
Okay.
You have to go down to the microphone, please. State your name and address, please.
My name is Sue Gerke. I live at 7393 on Buckley Drive. We've just recently taken up ATV in and we love it. And where we live, we will no longer be able to leave from our home, and to be able to put our ATV or UTV on a trailer just doesn't make sense for us. And we do go to a lot of establishments that are on the route. Now we won't be able to do that anymore. So it's very disappointing for us that these roads have been closed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move forward. Number 7, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting of March 8th.
Make a motion to approve minutes. One second.
Moved by Mr. Howie, second by Mr. Bissonnette to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to number 10 then. I'd like to welcome our new highway commissioner, Mr. John Pinto. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Brad Vicey for helping us out for the few months. He's done a wonderful job. Thank you. We have a commissioner's report. Anything you guys, gentlemen, would like to touch on?
Yes, I attended 2 scoping meetings this month. First one with the DOT and Cooper Engineering. On a County B project from 2nd Street to Chippewa Trail. This project will forward in 2025. We have to replace some of the curb in this project, not including the SMA, but that will be improved. Second, I met with the DOT and Ayers Associates on the County D redeck project. The bridge construction was scheduled to take place in 2026. I did make a change. I implemented that the bridge be replaced under detour, so we can put it in a one slab. There's no, separation, no joint. It's just going to be a better deck. So I did make that change. We recently purchased a used 2018 mulcher or a pecan head for excavator. This will make our job clean up the storm trees a lot quicker and easier. And of course, with the snow, now melting, I expect to get on the final stages of getting that done. All these storm trees were the last storm we had in December there. So we also continue to patch holes. Roads are in bad shape. I thought everybody here knows that. We're trying. Believe me, we are trying. We also started back our 10-hour days, April 3rd, from our winter hours to 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. Our plan is to start fixing potholes and mastic and crack seal very soon, as soon as the temperatures get above freezing. So, and that's about it. Other than that, Ron, you mentioned that C bridge. Gary can relate to that. We tried, it's in bad shape, and we are trying to move it up. John's working on that right now as we speak. We're going to talk to Ayers Associates and see if we can get that construction moved up.
So Ayers Associates is the engineering firm that's doing the Highway C bridge.
That is correct.
And scheduled, they're doing the engineering this year or next?
They're doing the engineering this year. And I'd like to be able to see to get it done this year. I don't know if that's gonna happen. It's let to be done next year, so. But we actually may have put a phone call in, me and John, and we didn't get an answer for this meeting, but we are looking at it, trying to get it done, so. Get it moved up.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Russ? You have a question regarding that?
Yep, sure does. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions regarding Commissioner's report? Hearing none, we'll go to letter B. Before we go to letter B, I got an update today. I'd like Kathy to give us an update before we start adventuring with our money where we're going. If that's acceptable by the committee.
You want to run up there or just wait till we go get you?
That's on there.
You can just prep.
Kathy, please.
I had a meeting on behalf of the Alliance. I met with LCO today, including several of their tribal governing board members. It was a very good meeting. We went over all the routes. I explained to them that I have a deadline. They may not feel as though they have as much of a deadline as we do, but they understood that we have a deadline as the Alliance to come to a resolution either way so that we can inform our ATV guests and visitors that are coming to the area. We went over all the routes. We discussed opening several sections of the routes, basically all of them other than I think 2 main routes is what we discussed. We seem to be in agreement with it. We're waiting for confirmation from the tribal governing board. I think they're working hard at making this happen. So I'm very happy with today's meeting. Hopefully they'll follow through and we'll have some good news Monday at the latest.
So you gave them a deadline of Monday?
Well, we have a few more days after that, of course, which I've explained to them. We need to notify the general public well before the trails open, which is going to be right around May 1st. We can't wait till the last minute. We have a lot of people to reach. There will be some additional signage that we'd have to produce if trails are closed down to the reservation. We have some options that we've been discussing within our committee about rerouting if that's the case that we have to do. We don't want to take any of those options, but we briefly discussed those options with LCO, but I think they're leaning towards trying to get these routes open.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Kathy? No.
What was it to that word?
So-
K and E, and K is, I think will be a discussion soon, just not right now, correct? Wasn't that the discussion, Brian?
And those are county roads.
Correct, just the county roads. Everything we're just discussing here is a county road.
Yeah.
So as Kathy indicated, we had a meeting today with her. Two members of the tribal governing board were present. The tribal chairman was on the phone for a while. What we're gonna propose, and I hope I can do it before Monday, but typically the reason why Kathy's bringing up Monday is that's when the tribal governing board has its normal meetings. That's our normal meeting day. And so in the event that I can't get a consensus of the governing board to tentatively approve this either tomorrow or Friday, we're probably looking at Monday. So basically, like Kathy just stated, a lot of the previous segments were that were, I use the word loosely, approved by the county. Them are the roads that are being proposed before the governing board for approval. this year.
Yes,
Looking at the updates, these are, the ones that are all highlighted in yellow, correct? In the ordinance. I think you guys did a fine job on the updates.
Nothing in the ordinance is based on their conversations.
Okay.
This is from last month.
All these yellow updates are from last month. They're nothing to do with.
Nothing to do with any of the conversation. We have not gotten information from those discussions to make any changes to the ordinance.
so we'll just start with the roles,
Sorry. Not the ordinance, so.
correct.
Okay.
The ordinance is letter C, yes.
Chris, could you? Which routes are you discussing? So I can make a note here.
Here you go.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'll use this.
Do you need a copy, Brian? This is what.
Pretty much more where.
Thank you.
So on the agenda, letter B is highway ATV UTV routes not approved by the original March request. Discussion and possible action. So what's the committee's wishes? Do you want to wait until Kathy gets the opportunity to see what they come up with? Or do you want to move forward? We have an option too, because we have a county board meeting on Tuesday. So if we have the opportunity to have a special public works meeting on Monday prior to the full county board. Yes,
My opinion is that we wait to find out what comes out of the meeting. And if we need, then we have that special meeting Monday evening and
well,
hopefully make a decision then.
we'll have the special meeting Tuesday prior to the full.
Okay.
If that's acceptable.
Yeah. That's what I'd like to see happen.
Is that what the committee wants to do as a whole?
I would prefer to have it that way.
Mr. Ross?
Yeah,
that works for me. Did you get that?
Yes, thank you. So. Time should we meet? Full board meets at 6:30. So do you want to meet at 5 or 5:30? I want to make sure we have enough time to discuss
Okay.
things.
5:30?
Is this open, is this meeting open to the public?
Absolutely.
Okay. What time did you say?
5 or 5:30.
About 15 minutes just to transition over and get set up and get it.
So we probably should meet at 5. That'll work. Chris, you got a comment?
That answered my question. Thank you.
Yep, that works for me, Ron.
Thank you. We have letter C, ATV UTV ordinance update, discussion and possible action. Alvarado gave us an update. That's what's in a little.
Yeah, just received today, last month. We added the language that's in yellow. And then we had the council look at it to clean up any language. They added what's in the white, blue underline areas, just some cleanup. Under 103, they added to the extent permitted by applicable law. Under jurisdiction, they added that same sentence, and then nothing in this ordinance is intended to modify, release, or waive any right or obligation that Sarah County may have subject to Wisconsin statutes or other applicable law. Very exciting legal language just to cover all the bases. But that's the only changes that have been made since last month's meeting when we left the when we put the highlighted language that's in yellow there. So that's the changes that you haven't seen. There was a question just on hours of operations, so where we left it at last month's meeting. And again, you didn't vote on this, but this was the discussion where we ended it. Is that hours of operation our ATVs are up. ATV UTVs are able to be operated 24 hours a day on certain kind of road routes except those identified in section 301. And those are marked with an asterisk, which would be only operated from 6 AM to 11 PM. And those are the sections of road that are within the tribal boundaries.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I speak on that?
Yes.
I have been getting calls, about that specific one right there, as far as hours of operations. I myself would like to see, I don't like the idea of 24 hours a day. I think this, say 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's a little late in the evening or morning, whatever you want to call it, for people who are running around. And some of these people have some serious loud mufflers on these things. And I understand we have to respect the riders, but we also have to respect the residents. And these residents, they're sitting at home trying to watch TV in the evening, relax. And then they got these things zooming, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. And so I would like to see a time,
You have a suggestion for the time?
1 AM
No.
from, say, 5 AM to 1 AM. 5 AM in the morning till.
Oh, hours of operation.
Right, yes, sir.
Okay. So non-operating, 1 AM to 5.
I know that's.
Yeah. Kathy,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Something like that would be acceptable. Did you say 1 to like 5 or 6 AM? What did you say, Mark?
5 AM. In the morning. Going around to 1 AM. In the morning, it's a small. Block. But it is time that. It's not 24 hours.
so no operations from 1 o'clock till 5.
Right.
Correct. Our biggest concern, if I may speak for a moment.
Yes.
Our biggest concern. Well, two things, you're not restricting any other user group, which I get it, a bicycle isn't loud. But the ATVs are actually paying for the roads. And the gas excise tax, and so I try to not restrict their use because they're actually paying for the roads. Number two, there are, I don't think there's a lot of people that choose to ride at night. But a lot of riders do long rides, multi-county rides, they're coming back later at night, and that's why I didn't want it such an early time. I think 1 o'clock. Just speaking for myself, obviously I haven't run it through our committee or anything, but speaking on behalf of myself, I think that's reasonable.
And I just want to say that snowmobiles also, we don't have such.
Well, right now we're talking.
Exactly, but I wanted people to know that I'm not just. Looking at ATV, UTVs, because that wasn't, the issue was both. Snowmobilers also out there that. Later than I was.
But we're talking about the ordinance on the county road right now.
Right,
Yes.
I just want, yeah.
Okay, all right.
What is it, Linda?
Linda Zilmer, 902 Holly Hill Lane, Birchwood. At Monday's Economic Development and Extension Committee meeting, Ms. LaRue got up and spoke that the NORTAC committee is working on trying to develop a common type ordinance by working and looking at each of the 10 counties in this region. And she urged that committee that Sawyer County should go slowly with this ordinance. And I mean, I'm just seeing this language now, if I've heard right, because we can't hear back here. This is just kind of like hot off the presses. So I just hope that as a committee, you're talking details and that you would not act to adopt an ordinance tonight. Thank you.
Any other discussion from under C? Yes. Yes.
On section 1.04 of the proposed draft ordinance. The third sentence in that, it probably should be struck out of there. It's like the town is going and, or the county is going and taking away the rights of the towns. I don't think in our county ordinance, it states that, within tribal lands, even though such lands be located within town and county are subject to laws, rules, and enforcement of LCO. As I stated in my comment period, until that has been determined, I think that should be struck from the ordinance. And I'm speaking with my town chairman hat, where I'm gonna work for another week. As a town chairman, I'm very upset that you're attaching this on the town of Hayward as a county ordinance. That doesn't make any sense. If you want to do it for the county, so be it, you know, that's your pleasure, but to go in and paint a town into a corner, I don't think it's proper.
Thank you.
You can make a comment to that. So, Mr. Gethard, are you an expert in Indian law? You understand tribal sovereignty?
I'm not engaging with you, Mr. Bissonnette, not after the way you treated me up there. I think I said was real funny when I was doing my comment.
No. The reference you made was, you even made reference to the 1854 treaty. Now, do you think for 1 second,
I made
the
reference
tribe
to
doesn't know what they're doing? And what we're trying to negotiate with this. You know, the crux of this whole issue is the fact that the tribe has been disregarded. The towns,
Mr. Bissonnette, you probably shouldn't be directing that at individual,
okay, I apologize,
just for the good of it. Thank you.
but I'd just be cautious of what he's saying. I wouldn't want to speak to him.
So what's the wishes of the committee? Do we want to put that on the agenda with the routes on potentially Tuesday, or we want to deal with it today? What would you like to do?
My opinion on that, Mr. Chair, is to put that off to put it on agenda for Tuesday evening.
I would, if that's a motion, I would second that.
Yes, I can make that motion. We put the ordinance off until any ordinance actions off until the Tuesday evening meeting.
That's second by Mr. Peters. Yes. So the motion by Mr. Elway to put this on the agenda for our meeting on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Second by Mr. Peters. Yes.
Just one last thing. When you, can I suggest that on the list of the roads, and then you have the asterisk designating the roads that are within the tribal boundaries have the different operating times. Can we break that list down so those are accurate? Because you're listing the entire road, but often the entire road is not on the tribal land. And I just want that clarified, I guess.
Mr. Arbro, got it. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. So we have a motion and a second on the floor to put the ordinance on the agenda Tuesday. Any discussion? Yes.
Far as that, the point I made on time, would that be a,
Gonna be put in there.
it's gonna be put in? Okay, thank you.
Ready for a vote? All in favor of the motion to put it on the agenda for Tuesday?
All right,
Motion carries. Thank you. Yes.
Just a clarification of what your meeting expectations, because we're gonna be putting out an agenda for the county board meeting. That's Tuesday night. Is your expectation that the committee who meets before the board meeting approves the routes for this year, potentially acts on the ordinance? And do you want the ordinance then to go to the county board that night as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and so we're gonna want to publish something with the board packet. Do you want the ordinance as it is right here? Because you potentially would amend it at the committee meeting. Want the ordinance as it's here, put into the board packet?
Yes.
I think you should make that a motion to approve or tentatively approve this to go on the board agenda, subject to the hour amendments and the comment from the audience about breaking down the routes.
So if I can get the governing board to agree on it Thursday or Friday, we would need to send them to you so you could get it in there.
Yes.
Then I would include all that somehow in a motion, so that gives us direction on what to put out to the public for the board meeting.
So whatever you just said, we'll take that into the motion. I'm not about to try to bring that together.
I think the motion is to,
What I have is a motion was made by Mr. Howard to use the most recent copy of the ordinance with the recommendations made tonight. Second by Mr. Peters, to put the agenda item on a special April 18th agenda
Okay. It has to go to the full county
and
board
full county board.
if it's approved Tuesday.
And do we need that caveat in there about what Kathy said? and the
Yes.
rest of it?
the hours of operation be amended to be from 5 AM to 1 AM. The list of routes broken down.
Yeah.
To identify those within sections within tribal boundaries. And any additional information from the tribal governing board prior to the meeting.
Got that, Lynn? Sorry,
I don't know how else to,
We'll
No,
work
I-
on that part.
you got it.
And we're gonna look at the township stuff to make sure it
right,
fits what we wanna do. Which is in 1.04. Okay.
yeah. That'd be good.
Or,
With these changes
Oh.
in the ordinance that will, before the public works on Tuesday, the 18th. And potentially get forward to the full county board so that changes can be put in. And that's what could be in the packet going to public works for Tuesday, and that's what will go in the packet to go to the full board on Tuesday.
did anybody record that?
Yeah, we are. So,
Okay, do you want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion. You only have to repeat it.
Yeah.
You just said, but I don't.
Motion by Mr. Bissonnette, second by Mr. Howie, to have the, put in the ordinance. And have it on the agenda for public works on the 18th. I'd have it on the agenda for the full county board on the 18th. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. That concludes item number 10, Highway Department Commissioner information. We're gonna move forward.
See you later.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where else?
Really wanted to say. Thank you. And we don't say, this is not. You will say.
Well, what do you think?
At this time, the highway department usually gives us an update of the weather conditions outside, so we know how we're gonna travel.
Well, my phone's blowing up with, I had to step off for flooding issues, so. Yeah, there's just a notification came up.
Yeah, thanks for taking care of that. Okay. Number 8, maintenance department report. Mr. Hagberg gave us a written report. Does anybody have any questions regarding that? Mr. Alvarado, anything you want to add or put into that?
no, I mean, a lot of time with Tim, well, snow removal's hopefully done. But we've been really focused on the transition into the new building. They're still wrapping up some of the build work for desks and cabinets and some punch list items, but a lot of the relocation work has been completed. So
Thank you.
that's kind of where we're at.
We'll move on to number 9, Sawyer County Airport. Welcome, Mr. Leslie. Is he on?
No, I don't think he is.
Oh, he's gone.
He's in-
out.
He's in- Where's he at? Alaska?
Arizona.
Arizona. I knew it was the May.
You wanna hit the highlights?
Yeah, I'll hit the highlights here. You did. This report's a few weeks old. The governor flew into the airport in March and sat down with Derek for a little while and took a look around the terminal. He was here for a different, not to visit the airport, but did spend a little time there. Traffic is slow this time of year. But just before the road bans went in place, Derek was able to, or excuse me, Hayward Aviation was able to get a full load of fuel in. So hopefully they can make it until the road bans are off. I noticed today there was actually quite a bit of jet traffic, so that probably ran down the tank a little bit. No updates on the runway rehabilitation project. We're still pushed out another year for funding, but we did apply for some federal appropriation supplemental dollars, but no feedback on that. The master plan kickoff meeting is here. Find it. It's scheduled now for invites have gone out May 25th at 2:00
You're on that committee.
here in the courthouse.
Yeah, I have a conflict. I already talked to Derek about. We spoke yesterday.
And then, yeah, his remodels of the terminal building is pretty well complete now.
Good.
I'll just jump to 9B. We don't have, the state has not forwarded us the petition packet to a petition for the new items, so we won't see that until we get that from them. Although we know we do need to get it because we're on a little bit of a time frame to re-up on some of our petition items. And then the 9C, we have a hangar lease expiring on July 1. So this is and it's a airport lease that's ran out under the old lease. So this is the resolution and the lease are attached to the agenda for approval to put in place a new lease with David Hummel.
And David Hummel has seen the new lease information. No, he has not.
But it is what it is. I mean,
It's months in advance right
Yeah.
now, so.
Make a motion to approve the lease agreement between Surrey County and Mr. Hamel,
Hummel.
Hermel.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Peters to approve the lease for Mr. David Hummel. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Anything else you need for the airport?
Nothing else for the airport.
Number 11, courthouse remodel update.
So we were supposed to be up and operating in there this week. There's still a number of punch list items that are being completed. And the HVAC, we went from needing heat to needing air conditioning in a week. The air conditioning wasn't ready to go. But we are not up and operating. Due to the kind of the different contractors working in there. The AV contractor could not complete the work on the schedule they had originally planned on. So they have to come back in 2 weeks to complete their work. That limits the ability to use the new courtroom. There is a significant trial that the court has that cannot be moved or adjusted on the schedule. So we did try to find a solution to get the AV done. That contractor wasn't able to subcontract it out even. So we have to keep the old courtroom up and running through next week. And then that's when the AV people will be here as well to finish up the new courtroom. So we'll be up and running in the new courtroom April 24th. The judge and the judicial assistant have moved into their new offices in the new construction, as have all of the security, lieutenant for the jail. They all have new office space on that end. They're all moved in and getting used to their space. There is a lot of just little things coming up that we're trying to work through, like making sure we got the badge access, security, approvals all in place. Some offices need blinds and just things you find when you move into new space. And then I have a meeting with the project manager next week to go through budget because now the contingency fund is pretty much gone. I don't have the exact dollar amount, but consider that all used up. So it's used up before we go into starting the remodel of the old space, which oftentimes during remodels is when you find things you didn't know about when you start tearing things apart. So there is some concern with that. And but we're gonna sit down and go through that project. We're also finding things with how the new construction was designed with the courtroom that maybe we aren't real happy with. So we're trying to make those changes to the remodel project before that's fully in motion. Just, I mean, odd things like the way a door swings or how the judge accesses the back of the bench and things like that. There also is a list of items that were done that the contractors built to spec, but the spec wasn't maybe what we expected to get out of the project. You'll be hearing about those things as we're trying. Those are like low priority right now. It's to get in the new space, but yeah,
Will we having a meeting with ventures over this?
we will be. We have a list. So, but I mean, I think I can get you in there tonight if you want to take a stroll through after the meeting. See how the space looks.
Or we can just not adjourn the meeting after we're done,
Sure.
because that'd be other matters for discussion only.
Yeah. So the courtroom will be up and running next week. We don't anticipate, you will not use the boardroom for next week's meeting. Probably, hopefully in May. There's still a lot of the AV components are being prioritized for the courtroom. So the new boardroom would be the last thing to get the AV up and running.
So the meeting on Tuesday, will that be in the full courtroom or will it be in here?
In the courtroom, because the courtroom will still be up and running.
The special meeting will be in here.
Special meeting will be in here. The board meeting might be in here as well.
Hold you on that.
Yeah, As soon as I said it, I remember that they did do some things that maybe the desks are already.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we will make it work.
Do we have any questions regarding update and remodel? Future agenda items? We know about,
Covered most of them.
yeah, we know about potential Tuesday meeting, and is there gonna be more hangers coming? I know you gave me a list.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't think so for this year.
Okay.
It's 2024.
Here's a question for the committee. We changed committees around how many years ago? But we used to meet out at the highway shop for one meeting. And we'd meet at the airport one meeting and then meet here. Does the committee have any interest in moving around? I don't know if some of you've ever been out to the airport. I don't know if some of you've ever been to the highway department. Is there any interest in that? Or is that too hard to do with virtual?
It does limit. Neither place is set up for virtually, not that we couldn't try to get it done, but
Just a thought. So something to think about. We can always talk about it in the meeting if you wish to do that. Okay. Other correspondence reports, anything else you want? You want to take a walk through the,
yeah,
I have a resolution to sign for.
and we can sign that, but we're not gonna adjourn until after we're done.
Can I just make a public comment that you're scheduling a special meeting on a night that the county board is already conflicting with the annual town board meetings?
Some town boards have moved theirs, they don't have to meet on the 18th.
I'm hearing from a lot of people that already have conflicts, so.
I know, I do. Well, that's just too bad.
And I went back today and looked at all the other years.
I'm gonna go make sure.
One year that was on a Thursday.
It's a requirement.
Next.
For-
In the organizational board. Oh, all the way up to that. People elected. People elected. Thank you. So I did review that.
That was only really. That was only me. No, we don't. I think it's good, so. M? M.
I never did get the agenda.
Oh, M.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, no, President down.
No,
Yeah,
I-
back to your thoughts. Great. Oh, my God.
Chris, you'll have to take a rain check on our tour through the building, but also there's a resolution to sign Tuesday, please.
Okay.
Doors open.
We shall be heard.
You come back here.
Here, right?
Yeah, we'll come back here and adjourn.
Yeah.
That's the right way to do it.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
I swore I looked this way.
I'm still gonna shut down the
Brad, John, you want this to the new building?